Well, when I talk about customer journey enablement, that's more than just the sales teams, as we talked about.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, any major change like we're talking about here, whether it's in how they're prospecting, how they're doing discovery, how
Mhm.
they're negotiating, anything has to come with executive sponsorship. Whether
Yes.
you've got a chief sales officer, a CRO, an EVP of sales, whoever that highest sales leader is, this needs to be something that they see the need for and that is then going down through the frontline sales leaders. Because one of the things I learned very quickly when I moved into enablement is nobody in sales reported to me anymore, and they didn't have to do anything that I suggested.
Yeah.
And so making sure that we're working with the sales leadership team, frontline
Sure.
through executives, is critical to
Yeah.
driving any of
Of
these changes.
of
It's just that
course. Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best
It's
enablement in
completely
the
true.
world will do nothing if sales
Yeah,
leaders
because
tell
if they
the
have to
team to
listen,
ignore it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's got to come back to a business outcome that's driven
Yeah.
from leadership.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. Okay. So how are you? Let's describe your customer
hmm
journey enablement
hmm
framework. Um, take us into that and tell us kind of how that works.
We've covered a lot of it with some of your other questions. Because again, the way I look at it is you talked at the beginning of our conversation about companies needing to have mapped out that customer journey or
Hmm.
buyer journey, right? So let's assume they've done that.
Hmm.
Then what we're doing, and it's those teams, it's marketing, it's RevOps, it's enablement, looking at that, and sales leadership at some point as well, but looking at that and figuring out what those touch points are,
Hmm.
figuring out what could we be doing better, right? So we've already talked about a different kind of discovery, a different kind
Yep.
of prospecting, a different kind of right. Um, how do and then how are we going to plug those gaps? You can't do everything all at once, but you can get a lot done when you're doing it coordinated across multiple teams. So I don't have a standard framework, Lee,
Hmm.
just from the standpoint that although there are many commonalities when I come into an organization, there are still
Sure.
enough differences
Hmm.
that a deep assessment is always what I recommend before we start building anything.
Right.
Let's go in and so that's usually the first step I will do. They'll give me access to Gong or Chorus. They'll give me access to
Sure.
Salesforce,
Yeah.
give me access to,
Okay.
and I will
So
interview
it's very
folks and I'll,
customized.
yeah. And then I'll come back to the executive team with a recommendation, say, here's a SWOT analysis, kind
Hmm.
of a funnel, right? Here's a SWOT
Yeah.
analysis, high level. Here's your biggest thing I see impacting revenue. Here are the next three things. Here's
Yeah.
what you can do about it. And my idea is that if I've done a great job, hopefully they'll keep me around and pay me to help them execute all this. But I
Hmm.
also promise my clients to give them a standalone analysis that they can take and execute on their own. Maybe they can execute on their own. But so that's part of the framework too. Is honestly figuring out what's going on within those revenue and go to market teams that's causing the problems that we're seeing.